comes a time in life when you stop begging people to understand you, when you stop explaining your pain, when you stop chasing the ones who walked away, because eventually you realize something painful but powerful. Tables always turn. The people who once looked down on you won't always stay on top. The ones who ignored your struggle won't always have the power to ignore you. The ones who laughed at your pain will one day remember your silence. Life has a strange way of balancing itself. What was once against you can one day become the reason you rise. What broke you can one day build you. What destroyed your peace can one day become the fire that wakes you up. I learned that pain changes a person, not always in a soft way. Sometimes it makes you colder. Sometimes it makes you quieter. Sometimes it makes you dangerous in the best way possible. Because when someone who was once broken decides to rebuild, they become impossible to stop. There was a time when I wanted fairness. I wanted people to admit they were wrong. I wanted apologies. I wanted closure. I wanted answers. But life does not always give you what you want. Sometimes life gives you silence. Sometimes it gives you betrayal. Sometimes it gives you nights where you sit alone and realize nobody is coming to save you. And that is the moment everything changes. Because when you finally understand that no one is going to rescue you, you stop waiting, you stop hoping, you stop depending on people who were never loyal to begin with, and you start building yourself from nothing. That is where real power begins. Not in comfort, not in applause, not in easy days. Real power is built in darkness, in loneliness, in disappointment, in the moments when your heart is heavy, but you still choose to stand. People think time is weak. They think time is slow. They think time forgets, but time remembers everything, every insult, every betrayal, every overlooked sacrifice, every tear you swallowed in silence. And one day, it all comes back around. The tables turn. The weak become strong. The silent become unstoppable. The forgotten become impossible to ignore. That is why I no longer rush the process. I no longer panic when things are unfair. I no longer break because someone doubts me, because I know this truth now. You do not have to prove yourself to everyone. You just have to survive long enough for the truth to show itself. And the truth always shows itself. The same people who once doubted your value will one day wish they had seen it sooner. The same people who treated you like nothing will one day realize they lost something real. The same people who thought you would stay broken will see you rise with a power they never expected. But by then, you will no longer need their approval, because your healing will already be your victory. Your silence will already be your strength. Your growth will already be your answer. Tables always turn, and when they do, the world sees who was really strong all along. Not the loudest person in the room, not the one who talked the most, not the one who tried to look powerful, but the one who kept going when no one believed, the one who stayed standing after the world tried to knock them down, the one who turned pain into purpose, the one who turned rejection into discipline, the one who turned suffering into strength. So if life has treated you unfairly, if people have underestimated you, If you feel like you are carrying more than you can handle, hold on, because this chapter is not your ending. This is the part where you are being shaped. This is the part where you are being built. This is the part where the silence is preparing your storm. And when your moment comes, it will not be loud. It will be undeniable. They will see the person you became. They will see the strength you built in private. They will see the version of you they thought would never rise. And by then, it will be too late to stop what was always meant to happen, because tables always turn. And when they do, the ones who stayed patient win. The ones who stayed disciplined win. The ones who kept faith in the dark win. The ones who never quit win. So let them talk, let them doubt, let them underestimate. Let time do what time does best, because one day the same world that watched you fall will watch you rise. And that day, your comeback will speak louder than every wound you ever carried. And maybe the hardest part of your journey was not the pain. It was the fact that you had to suffer in silence while everyone thought you were losing. They saw your failures. They saw your mistakes. They saw the moments when you were not at your best, but they never saw the war inside your mind. They never saw how many times you fought yourself just to get out of bed. They never saw how many times you wanted to give up, but still chose to continue. That is the difference. Anyone can shine when everything is easy. Anyone can be confident when everyone supports them. But the person who keeps moving when nobody believes, that person is different, because struggle creates something comfort never can: strength. The world teaches you a painful lesson. Not everyone who stands beside you is with you. Some people only love your success. They only respect the version of you that benefits them. But when you have nothing, when you are rebuilding, when you are fighting battles nobody knows about, you discover who truly matters. And sometimes losing people is not a loss. Sometimes it is life removing distractions from your path. Sometimes rejection is protection. Sometimes a closed door is the thing that forces you to build your own. So stop looking back. Stop waiting for people to notice your value. The same people who ignored your journey do not deserve a front row seat to your victory. Build quietly, grow quietly, become someone your old self would be proud of, because your biggest revenge is not anger. It is peace. It is becoming successful without becoming the person who hurt you. It is winning without losing your soul. Remember this: the storm that tried to destroy you was also the storm that taught you how to stand. The darkness that surrounded you was also where you found your own light. The pain that changed you was also the reason you became stronger. So when your moment arrives, don't waste time explaining your past. Don't waste time proving your struggle. Just stand there as the person you fought so hard to become. Because tables always turn, and when they do, you won't need revenge. You won't need words. You won't need to remind anyone what they did. Your life will become the answer. Your success will become the message. Your comeback will become the proof. And everyone will finally understand. They were never watching you fail. They were watching you transform. Because the truth is, life is not about who wins first. It is about who survives the longest. Many people start strong. difference is created. The person who keeps walking in the darkness will eventually see the light. The person who keeps fighting when nobody is watching will become stronger than the person who only wanted attention. Because real growth is always silent. A tree does not grow louder. A mountain does not rise with noise. A warrior does not become powerful by announcing every battle. They become powerful by surviving them. So stop comparing your chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 20. You don't know what they sacrificed. They don't know what you survived. Everyone has a hidden battle. Everyone carries wounds they don't show. Some people hide their pain behind smiles. But deep inside, everyone is fighting something. And the ones who win are not the ones without problems. They are the ones who refused to let problems become their identity. You failed. Good. Now you know what doesn't work. You lost someone. Good. Now you know who was never meant to stay. You were betrayed. Good. Now your eyes are open. Every painful lesson has a purpose. Every scar has a story. Every dark moment was preparing you for something bigger. The old version of you had to disappear so the stronger version could be created, because sometimes the person you become after the storm is the person you were always meant to be. So let them underestimate you. Let them believe your silence means weakness. Let them think you are finished. They don't know what happens when someone loses everything and decides to rebuild. A person with nothing to lose and everything to prove is a dangerous force, not because they want revenge, but because they finally understand their own worth. And when that person rises, they don't return the same. They return calmer, smarter, stronger, unstoppable. Because the biggest transformation happens when nobody is watching. And one day, the same people who ignored your strength will witness your strength. The same people who questioned your future will see your results. The same people who thought you were done will realize you are only becoming. Tables always turn, always. And when you finally reach that point, you will understand something important. The goal was never to make everyone regret losing you. The goal was to become someone you could respect, because there is a version of you that existed before the pain. A version that trusted everyone. A version that gave too much. A version that cared about opinions more than dreams. But life changes people. Not always in a beautiful way. Sometimes it changes them through disappointment, through broken promises, through moments where they realize the person they were waiting for was themselves. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to build your future. The responsibility was always yours, and that truth hurts. But it is also freedom. Because once you accept that your life is in your hands, you stop making excuses. You stop blaming your past. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You start creating one. The world is full of people who want the reward, but they don't want the struggle behind it. They want the victory, but they don't want the battles. They want the crown, but they don't want the scars. But you learned to survive without applause. You learned to walk without support. You learned to fight battles nobody knew existed. And that is why your comeback will be different. Because it was not built from motivation. It was built from pain. It was built from nights when you had no answers. was broken and still kept moving. They don't see the fear you defeated. They don't see the doubts you silenced. They don't see the old you that had to die for the new you to be born. So don't waste your energy trying to prove them wrong. Become so focused on becoming better that their opinions become meaningless. Because the greatest victory is not when your enemies admit they were wrong. The greatest victory is when their opinion no longer affects you. When you can look back at your old life and say, I survived that. I became stronger from that. I am not that person anymore. Because tables always turn. The person who was ignored can become the person everyone notices. The person who was rejected can become the person everyone respects. The person who was broken can become the person nobody can break again.